Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. Come on, Harry, dish the dirt. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. What dirt might this be, then? Is it finally the case that has no balls is going to grow some balls and dish the dirt on life with this one's wife? Is he going to spread news about how he's been mistreated? Is he going to give details of the sustained devaluation? He doesn't know that's what he's in, but he certainly knows the way that she treats him and others. As he finally girded his loins and prepared himself to dig out the crayon diaries and share news of what she's been up to? Unfortunately, not yet. Instead, according to that bastion of journalistic excellence, Heat, it's been over a year since the release of Prince Harry's explosive memoir, Spare. And with the publishers desperate for more royal muck-raking, we are told the Duke of Sussex is under pressure to dish more dirty details on his family. When Spare was released back in January 2023, it saw Harry, 39, drop a number of allegations regarding his family. Alongside branding his stepmother Queen Camilla, age 77, wicked, Harry also alleged that comments from Kate Middleton, 42, left wife, this one's wife, also 42, sobbing on her wedding day. Yet, despite being over 12 months down the line, a paperback version of the best-selling book is yet to be released, with Harry's publishers now urging him to write an exclusive extra chapter to drum up excitement. So it would appear that the threatened paperback still hasn't seen the light of day because Ginger Bollocks hasn't got the crayon set out and written more information. Could this be as a consequence of laziness? Might it be that he's reluctant to do so following the backlash that occurred in relation to Spare? It certainly not stopped him complaining. This is what the gruesome twosome do best: whinge about their circumstances and then complain about the royal family. Despite them having stated that they were going to go down a different road, they haven't done so. It's impossible for them. This one's wife, as a narcissist, is pathologically wired to victimhood. It's always about her and how it affects her and how people are bad to her, because that's the narcissistic perspective that she has. Harry, for a long time, has seen himself as a victim as a consequence of what has happened to him when he was younger, and rather than get on with it, as no doubt he's been told to by his father and grandfather before him, he's allowed it to fester. And then this one's wife has come along and said, Harry, you need to air these grievances. For too long you have suppressed them. That's not healthy. Let them out. In essence, let his inner victim see the light of day. And thus that is what the two of them have engaged in. Expectations apparently are mounting for the Duke and Duchess to dig up even more dirt on the royal family. And apparently, Harry and this one's wife are feeling the pressure. A source states, it's got to be a tough spot for Harry to be in, because the publisher is putting a ton of pressure on him to deliver some more salacious details on the royals. It's not exactly like his family have been very forgiving, so no doubt there's some feeling on Harry's part that he's got nothing left to lose. But if he wants any chance of a relationship, he'd be a fool to cave. Decisions for the dimwit. The royals still can't believe some of the things Harry said in his book, and it will go down in history as one of the biggest betrayals of the monarchy in modern memory. For him to rub salt in the wound again for his own personal gain would send him so far into the doghouse that there'd be no way back. It would ruin any chance of reconciliation. Now, Harry might be mindful of that, given the fact that, of course, whatever the Sussexes turn their hand to ends up getting on a train to Fucked Upsville, and therefore they are reliant on the royal family for two things. That's the only reason why people are interested in him and his wife. And furthermore, it might prove to be a way back in when the money dries up. The palace adopted a hardline no-comment position on the memoir, but this didn't stop insiders from revealing that the book, which was said to have pocketed £16 million, had left many inside the firm fuming. We're told Harry is extremely defiant, narcissistic trait, about his book, and he insists that telling his truth was something he needed to do, which, of course, is straight out of the This One's Wife playbook. Whatever the repercussions, looking back, he could have gone easier on Kate and dialed back his obvious disdain towards Camilla. But all in all, he's pleased with the way it turned out. He always assumed that the first edition of Spare would be something of a template for him to re-release and add to in the years that followed. But according to our source, it's not proving quite so simple to come up with worthy content. I guess the blue crane and the green crane keep snapping. The harsh reality is that there's very little to include at this point, besides his experience of being ostracised by the royals, we're told. Presumably, This One's Wife and Harry thought that they would have some kind of ongoing relationship with the royals that they could continue to add their experiences in relation to, that there would be more to complain and whinge about. Sure, he and This One's Wife could describe their love story more, please don't. But it's not as though they could really brag about how they've conquered Hollywood, because they haven't, or won over the liberal US political elite, again, because they haven't. Any additional material will be construed as tame, and the fact that publishers aren't lining up to write him a big cheque tells its own story as far as the perceived marketability. But while the Duke's paperback reprint may not prove to be the sensational update publishers are hoping for, his wife may save the day. Naturally! The living saint rises to the rescue once again. It's been reported in recent months that This One's Wife is planning to follow in her husband's footsteps with her own memoir on her time inside the palace. Now, in relation to this memoir that This One's Wife apparently is writing, first of all, there is the fact of she's lazy. However, there are two things that would drive the publication of that memoir. Naturally, they're linked to her narcissism. The first, it would allow her to smear the royal family and thus assert control over them indirectly, drawing fuel by people's responses. Also, she's likely to make a lot of money from it, because there will be plenty of people that would want to read what she has to state, a dwindling number of supporters, and then, of course, the grudge readers who want to see what nonsense she comes up with. Thus, those are pretty compelling reasons for her to create it. However, it also has to be borne in mind that repeatedly making mention of the fact that she's going to make a memoir is a typical middle-range tactic of the use of threat. In essence, I know things about you lot, and I'm going to write about them at some point, so give me what I want. The power of a threat, of course, is in the threat itself rather than its execution. It is in the hanging it over somebody. And therefore, it might be the case that This One's Wife never actually delivers on the memoir, but rather just utilises the threat to get her what she wants. According to royal expert Tom Bauer, the book may well be underway already, with This One's Wife simply biding her time when it comes to release dates. He says, "I'm sure This One's Wife is penning the memoir. She's such a good writer." Really? And it will be filled with vitriol. True. This is the ultimate weapon that she can deploy, adding whenever they need their money, whenever they need publicity to stoke their reputation, they will drop another bomb. Thus, Harry apparently is under pressure to dish the dirt, but is likely to have a reluctance to do so, based upon the necessity of trying to get back into the royal family at some future point. This One's Wife will have plenty of dirt. Undeniably, much of it will be fabricated as a consequence of her revision of history, and it remains to be seen whether she does that in order to seek the aspects of the prime aims, as I mentioned earlier, or she just keeps it on the back burner as a threat. Will the dirt arrive? Well, they've dished plenty in the past. We'll have to see what happens next. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.